Good morning, gang. Kevin here, Life22. And I know what you're all thinking. Geez, where have you been, Kev? Well, sorry. I had a little bit of free time Monday morning, did my Monday morning motivational podcast, and then sick kids at home. So that's where we've been all week. And I know there was some breaking news on Wednesday. And Common Council meeting, got to catch up on that. Slow roll on that one. I don't know, nothing that really stood out to me is like out of the ordinary. I'm sure I could come up with commentary on it. But today's podcast is going to be more of like a testimonial, more of a character reference for an individual in our community. So a lot of you have probably heard the SRO at the middle school was put on leave, Officer Boon, and from my family to his, from this channel, from my businesses, anything that I can speak on behalf of, we're in support of Officer Boon. He's a great member of our community. There's nothing. It's one of those. The thumbnail to this video is probably going to be him handing out free slushy tickets to the kids in my community, in my neighborhood. And my kids are in the photo, obviously. That's why I was taking the photo. But just, all around great guy. I want to say that photo's from like 3 or 4 years ago. Kids are outside playing, and he rolls up and, hey guys, tell me your address. What happens if you see a stranger? Asking just basic questions, just some community engagement. Just if you've ever met Jason, he is a phenomenal dude. He's happy-go-lucky. It's one of those like, I'm sure he's tough. I've never had to see him in a tough situation. A lot of times you can't really be on the force if you're not tough in a tough situation, right? Like, but he's a great guy. And as a parent, I got the notification from the school district that he had been put on administrative suspension or something for something, unrelated to his duties at the school. And, the rumors are circulating. And the only thing that I can gather is it's something in his private life that, you know what I mean? Like, you never know, right? Like, I'm a landlord, right? So if I follow New York State's prescription for how I'm supposed to serve a tenant, in other aspects of the law, that can be considered harassment. Because it's like, well, you shouldn't be notifying this, but they've asked you to stop notifying them about certain things. It's like, yes, but this is a contractual rental obligation. And it's like, it doesn't matter. They can serve you with harassment because you've been asked to stop. And it's like, but how do I remedy my rent? Like, tough noogies. This is New York State. And then that gets me into today's real point. Well, not real point. The real point is our support for Jason, but an ancillary point, if you will, is that New York State is just it's turning into I say it's turning into a hellhole. You guys out there might be like, Kev, look, clearly you've got something in your eyes because it's already there. Which may be the case, but I'd like to reverse course and make that not happen because I live here and I'm raising my family here, and it's ridiculous that stupid little minor civil infractions. So you serve your tenant an eviction notice as a cop, right? Like, I'm not saying this is, I don't think Jason's a landlord. I'm just throwing this out there. You serve one of those and all of a sudden it's like, hey, you have a harassment complaint against you, or you have this against you, or, somebody is suing you for owing them rent. Like, that stuff can put your integrity at risk at work. So you have to get put on suspension. Like, this is all speculation, but these are like something clearly in his private life that was most likely not criminal. Because if it was criminal, he'd be put on permanent, and I believe you'd see that like there'd be a press release that he'd been removed from the force, right? Like, these are things that I don't have insight into, and so I can't speak on it, but I can speculate because that is my right as an American citizen, is to speculate on different things that are happening in my community, things that are happening around me, things that are happening with my government. And so Like, it's just, and I understand some of the reason for it, right? Like, you don't want a cop out there who's beating his wife and you know what I mean? And he gets arrested for it. It's like, okay, well, you should be suspended from the force because, like, we don't need somebody who can just fling off the handle and go, like, beat somebody who is most likely inferior, like, not inferior, but, like, physically inferior to you. Like, you know, like, oh, he beats his kids. Or, you know what I mean? Whatever it happens to be. You don't want somebody that's on the force that can do that. And I understand why they put these protocols in place, because officers of the law are fiduciaries, right? They are held to a higher standard than everybody else. But I mean, and it's the political climate we're in too. I mean, we've got, before the last presidential election, we had a woman from 35 years ago with sketchy memory and who seems a little batty, claiming that our current president, at the time, our former president running for president, like, she was claiming that she got, like, raped at a department store. And it was like, her memory's sketchy. There was no cooperating. Anyways, there was no witnesses that backed up her story. And there was just a bunch of other little things. Sorry about that, folks. One of my kids set their tablet on an alarm, and it went off. I make them surrender them to me. This is the Blockbuster room. They come in every night and they return. I'm the library. They return the library of tablets. They return them so they can be charged. So anyways, no, that's the climate. And that was in New York is where this trial is happening. And a jury who the gut feeling, well, we don't like the guy. We're from New York City. We don't like this guy, blah, 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 which, I mean, New York City would be 10 times worse if Donald Trump hadn't been there in the 80s and 90s, but, oh well, right? But it's just funny that you can just pull something out of whole cloth and then just throw it at somebody. I mean, this could be completely fabricated. It could have been, an ex-wife, an ex-girlfriend, whoever that just, saw what happened to Donald Trump and be like, you know what? I could do that too, and just decides to just make something up. And, in New York State, it's a very much a believe all women, the Me Too movement is still alive and well in New York. So, I mean, if you're a guy in New York, you can have a lot of crap thrown at you, and it has to stick. And like, it's almost like they throw out the rule, like, you're innocent until proven guilty. You're guilt as a male in New York State, you are proven guilty. Or you are held guilty until you are proven, until you can prove your own innocence. The burden's not on the state, which is really like kind of just an odd thing in New York. That's not how it's supposed to be. Your state is supposed to you start messing with things that are constitutional. You're pretty much like, oh, no. Your business model is flawed. We're going to dismantle your state, and then we'll let you rebuild it as long as you're following these federal constitutional guidelines that umbrella all of us. But that's how it's all written down, but nobody wants to ever do that. No, like, it's just, it drives me nuts. Nobody ever wants to sit there and say, hey, state of New York, you're doing things that are like expressly like going against the grain of the Constitution of the United States. And it says right here, we allowed you to be a state. Like, that's the thing, is like all these states, it's like, you're allowed to be here in the United States as states if you follow this umbrella. And then people don't, and I don't know, going on a constitutional rant now. It's like you're violating the covenant that is here, and if you violate it, like, you shouldn't exist. Like, it's like, see, in New York, well, we act differently. Well, it's like, yeah, but you're acting completely opposite. It's like, I don't know. It's just it's crazy, and it's crazy that something so like that New York has gotten so out of hand that in a small town like community that like something like that could have happened, and it stinks. Like, if you just saw like the not that I don't have any examples of this, but if you just saw the angry cop that was just, and he happened to be like the only guy for the job, and they sent him to the school, and he was just this grumpy, just angry cop. He goes home every day and his wife yells at him, and he's just miserable existence. And like I'm saying, I don't have any examples of that because I don't know any cop in our force that's like that. And so, and maybe I don't know enough cops. Maybe there is one or two that like guys on the force could be like, no, that's so and so. Like, and it's like, okay, well, but it never happens to that guy, right? It always happens to like like one of the nicest guys on the force. Like they didn't pick him to be an SRO because he was a jerk. He didn't like put on his lamb suit that morning and be like, "Look at me, I'm not a wolf." You know what I mean? Like that's who he is. He's genuinely a nice guy, and that's who you want around your kids. Somebody who can say, "Hey, listen, man, there's no smoking in the school. Like, take it away." Like, you know what I mean? Doesn't just like immediately like reach for his gun, right? Like, that's a cigarette in the school. Like, okay, de-escalate, calm, cool, and collective. And there's no nicer guy you want to. Like, listen, Officer Boon, this is going on. Like, great, he can handle it because he's the guy. My kids love him. They talk about him all the time. Oh, my daughter will wave out the window. Hey, that's Officer Boon. That's Officer Boon. As we're driving to the school, we're driving by the school. So it's one of those things. I hope it all gets resolved. It's one of those. I don't know. We're in support of Officer Boon. I hope that everything works out for the best for him. Especially for my kids. You know what I mean. I want them to continue to have like somebody that they trust, that has their best interest at heart, down at the district. So, but yeah, it's crazy how the way New York State has gotten. It's just like any small civil infraction, like they, and I don't know. I guess more will probably come of it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there talking about what's going on. I know people have been talking about what's going on with Kirk Ireland. We reached out to him, obviously, per the advice of his lawyer. He has to remain silent until everything is resolved, and not talk to the media or press. And guess what? That's what we are, folks. We're the media and the press. But I mean, we wanted to get the real scoop. And he said, as soon as I hear the dust settle, to reach out to him. So we will be certainly doing that and trying to get him on the show. But obviously, you got to let the dust settle. So, but yeah, this episode here goes out to our friend and local community leader. He leads the community in the way he holds himself around our children. So, and the way he protects us and serves. So this one goes out to Jason Boon. So Officer Boon, you got our heartfelt support here at the Doherty family. So we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's Saturday. You might catch some readings this weekend. We got a couple more letters in, man. And I heard there's some updating news, some exciting news on Luke Winkie. So stay tuned this weekend, guys. We'll see you next time. Life22. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell all of your friends.